I remember hearing like the Cranberries a lot and stuff when I was like 5, and I was exposed to like cool music and Frank Sinatra.
Interestingly enough, I know other people in the music business, my generation and whatnot, who have kids, and half the kids seem to have good taste in music, and half the kids of other people that I know who I won't mention have shitty taste in music. And I think my kids both had pretty good taste, to the point where, they would edit boyfriends based on their musical taste, which I thought was an awesome thing to do.
It's a red flag if it isn't good.
Yeah.
Yeah. You also, he wasn't ever judgmental when we liked shitty pop music.
Oh, you liked Aqua, right? Was that the band?
I still like Aqua.
Yeah.
Welcome back to a brand new episode of Innersleeve, the podcast taking a behind-the-scenes look at all things music. I'm your host, Cassius Morris. My co-host, Joe Pacheco, joining me on the line. What's happening, my man?
Not too much, my man. How's it going with you?
It's going good. I feel like we're sort of in a bit of a slower time for music right now. It feels like people are sort of settling in, but it's good. I think we're just getting off that big summer rush of everyone sort of being back at shows, being back, and I feel like some normalcy might be creeping in.
Yeah, exactly. I'm thinking I can't believe we're already end of July, right? Taping this.
Hard to believe.
I know. I'm still just sort of getting into summer, but yeah, it's already passed almost. But yeah, no, it's true. Shows everywhere, you hear all kinds of stuff. So it's, a little bit, definitely some normalcy. Let's hope the trend continues.
Fingers crossed, and I'm going to knock them on the wood just to make double sure. We have an awesome episode. Exactly, right? We have an awesome episode lined up for you guys today. On episode number 84 of Innersleeve, we are honored to be joined by Kandle and Neil Osborne, of course, the father-daughter duo who brought us the brand new project, A Family Curse. And if you guys are not familiar, of course, Neil Osborne being, a legend, especially here in the business in Canada, Joe.
Yeah, definitely. I've been hearing his band 5440 since, I don't know, man, since I was a kid here on local radio and stuff across Canada, and it's always a big name and stuff. So I actually didn't know that it was her, that was, because we've had Kandle on the show last summer, right? So I didn't know that it was Neil and they were father-daughter, and it's such a cool dynamic. You'll see in the interview with the father-daughter dynamic. It's interesting.
It's very cool to observe, and yes, Kandle and Innersleeve alumni. So look, if you guys want to check out our other episode with Kandle, make sure to go check out Innersleeve on all of our platforms. That means audio, video, YouTube. We're on social media at SoundMojo as well. Come check in with us. It's been a lot of fun. Hopping into some news in the world of metal, Rob Halford, of course, the metal god himself of Judas Priest, speaking out against the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, saying he was pissed when he found out Judas Priest would only receive a musical excellence award at the Rock Hall.
Yeah, I mean, can you blame the guy, man?
No.
But at the same time, if you read further in, he does say he's happy and honored and, to finally be nominated or be in it. But why the musical excellence thing, which seems to be like an add-on, right? It was an add-on and
yes.
Just an aside kind of to just being inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Because I can't fault the dude, he mentions Black Sabbath. He's right up there with those guys, right, at that time.
Well, there's no question. It almost seems like a bit of a snub, Joe. I got to be honest. It seems like, okay, we'll let you in, but we're not going to really do it properly, and we don't really want you here. Even when Kiss was inducted, this was 15, 20 years after their eligibility, started, because I think you need to be a band for X amount of years, and Kiss was standing outside. They wouldn't let them in because they were like, we don't know who you guys are. You guys don't have passes. We're talking the original members of Kiss were standing outside next to a dumpster. So, they have been known for treating some of these artists pretty bad, Joe.
Agreed. But at the same time, there's just maybe, how many ceremonies do they hold? One or two a year, right? It's
one a year.
So, and then you have how many bands? Maybe back in the day there was a lot less, but today there's so many more bands. I think you need, like you said, I'm looking here on the list. I think it's 25 years. You need to have at least.
Wow.
Here you go. There you go. Recording, have released its first commercial recording at least 25 years prior to the year of nomination. So these guys are obviously in like Flynn, as we say.
Of course.
But, but it's true because even here, they'll say that Kiss got in, let's say, see Black Sabbath wasn't inducted until 2006. Metallica followed 3 years later. Kiss was nominated for the first time in 2009, but finally in 2014.
Wow.
Deep Purple, look at that. The Rock Hall since 1993 and finally inducted in 2016.
And Iron Maiden still not even in the running, by the way.
Yeah. Well, I
that's
mean,
insane.
If we were going to follow, let's say, like chronological order kind of stuff, then I would say put Priest in and then Iron Maiden right after.
Yes, exactly. Because that's sort of like they're like the Godfathers, I think you could say. I mean, Halford, Sabbath, right? I mean, the Godfathers of metal. Yeah. They have the title for a reason.
Oh yeah, for sure. But like we were joking around before taping this, and you made the comment of Robbie H. And it made me laugh, and it made me think. And I'm gonna say probably a really silly dad joke that just came to my thing. I said, but maybe if he changed his name, Robbie H, and then put out something, and he'd have to wait, and then maybe he'd get inducted faster as a Robbie H instead of Judas Priest.
He could blow up, and he'll be on the TikTok charts. Next thing you know, you never know what we're gonna see from Rob. But
I guarantee you that his voice would still kick ass.
I mean, that's one thing about him, Joe, is that he managed to keep his voice pretty much in phenomenal shape. And, I think he's a pretty remarkable guy for his age. He's over 70, I believe. He's 71 or just at 70. So, the fact that he's still on tour, he's still making news and relevant, it's pretty remarkable.
Have you ever got to see either Rob on his own or with Priest?
I have not got to see any of the Priest guys. How about you?
Yeah, I was lucky once. Now that I think about it, because these guys are getting on in their years, and I don't know if I'm going to miss some, like Van Halen, those type of things. I never got to see Eddie live. But I got to see him at Heavy MTL here back in 2010, so there was a bunch of bands. I got to see Testament, got to see these guys and stuff. But no, Halford was cool because it wasn't Priest, it was Halford. But what's wicked is he comes out with the big Harley, the big motorcycle, and then you hear that voice, and right away I'm like, oh, who's that? That's Rob Halford, man.
Screaming demon.
Yeah, totally.
What a legend. Not many guys that can hold it, together for this long. And shout out to Judas Priest, still on the road for their 50-year tour. It's insane.
Yep.
Hopping over to the SoundMojo YouTube channel, which if you have not subscribed yet, we of course highly recommend it. Hit that subscribe button with the notification bell as well. And on our community tab, we do different polls and questions to see what you guys are listening to. This one was cool. Now, this was sort of a multiple choice question. We asked, My Sharona was recorded by which band? And I guess The Knack was unanimously the answer, Joe.
Yeah, definitely 75% out of 173 votes. Thank you again for participating. The Knack. I obviously knew the answer. Everybody knew the answer, kind of thing. But no, some people still guess the Ramones. Fair enough. Let's check out the comments. Some of the comments were funny. I love My Sharona by The Knack. Me too. It's like such a iconic beat, chorus, groove.
Such a classic rock song. It's crazy.
Yeah. It's the easy one, of course. Ex Mumu, easy one, of course. That was. Game X Simmons, come on now.
Yeah, seriously. What are you wasting my time for?
Yeah, exactly. Not Donald Fagen. Thanks again, but fucking hate that song. It's about 5 minutes too long, goes absolutely nowhere after the first chorus. That song is all the chorus, right? it's a chorus song.
That's the thing. It's the whole, and then a little bit of a riff. That's it, right?
Yeah, it's good. I love it. But I agree with not Donald Fagen with the same for American Pie. That song is just so like, oh my god, that. And I can mention another one if I can. Since it's in my mind is I love Billy Joel, but the Piano Man song, I don't know what it is. I just can't stand it.
Probably heard it too many times, I would imagine.
Probably.
That one is a little old to me too now. There's a few of these that sort of stand out in my mind, but I kind of have a place in my heart for most of them. I think the main one, and you're not going to like this, Joe, is I Love Rock and Roll.
Oh, come on, bro. I'm not joking.
I was like, no, that song to me... It's just old to me. Like I'm sick of hearing it. I get it. I get the idea. But again, I think when you're having fun, you're at a concert, you're at a festival, and even, back in the time, dancing at the club, I think it's fun. We don't need to solve the mysteries of the universe through song every time. I think if it's something simple like My Sharona, great, let's dance to it,
Yeah. Actually, I want to defend Joan Jett because I love Joan Jett. I've gotten to hang with her a few times and she's just like such a star. But that song, like I remember, like I was 7 years old playing air guitar and blasting the radio, and it was that song that was on, and that guitar solo I thought was like incredible.
It's a sick
and
solo.
Then I got my daughter when she was younger singing it. I mean, it's such an anthem. That's what I equate it to. It's such an anthem. But I get it that it's overplayed or maybe it was overplayed. Like there's so many bands. Let me continue. Let me throw in one more that I'm fed up of hearing is Californication by the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Like, come on, man.
By the Chili Peppers.
Yeah, a great song though, admittedly, but I'm just tired of hearing it.
We get the idea by now, folks. Some songs we may need to retire. Here we ask, what musician would you most like to meet and why? And I mean, I'm sure this had plenty of answers. Oh, yeah, totally. We had like 26 likes, but here und seit, again, I apologize. When accounting both dead and alive, Freddie Mercury, he was the greatest. Would love to be able to say to him how much his music means to me. Oh, sorry, more. When only counts was people that are alive. Q, I guess you would say that. Q. Her music new name for me.
Difficult time. Me too. And I want to tell her that, and that makes a difference. Of course, like music, I mean, like it's there when we really need it, like. Exactly. I've been there a few times where it's like, a song, what I love about it is there's certain albums or songs, if I'll put them on, it's like an instant mood. Like I just get boosted my mood or like your memory because it's incredible. It's magic.
It's like a mental getaway.
Yeah, exactly. Stephen Cook, Ozzy Osbourne, because he is the greatest.
Yeah. Can't argue with that.
I've been listening to that guy since I was a wee young lad. So yeah, I can't argue with that. The Nameless Gula, thanks again for participating. Tobias Forge or Dave Grohl both seem to be quite humble and don't take themselves too seriously.
I would have never thought Tobias Forge. That's shocking.
Yeah. No, but Dave Grohl does. Like I don't know if anybody. It's like The Rock. Does anybody hate these guys? Like they're just always like happy-go-luckies. Great vibes.
Men of the people.
Yeah. So Classico, Michael Jackson, Freddie Mercury, David Bowie, Britney Spears, Janet Jackson, Lady Gaga, My Chemical Romance.
We got a whole
Ozzy
Christmas
Osbourne.
list.
Yeah. Paris Jackson, Ozzy Osbourne, Lemmy, nice. Sadly, half of the list is already dead. Unfortunately, yeah. They're legends.
That's sad. See, that's actually sad to think about when you look at that. Even Bowie, man.
Yeah. Game
we
X
miss them all.
Alessia Cara, she's my crush.
Oh,
Good
look
artist.
at him. Okay, Game X.
Yeah. Lorenzo Pignanoli, thanks again. Cornelia Jacobs. So lovely. I'm not familiar with that one.
New name for me.
Ken Ulozis, Maynard or Trent?
Okay. We're on a first name basis now, Ken.
But we know who they are. That's the mark of a.
Who would you choose out of that duo?
I was just trying to I would say Trent because of the multi-layered, like the fact that he's done the Nine Inch Nails and done like even some movie soundtracks and even like the last Halsey album. He produced some of the a Halsey album that I loved. Maynard just because I love Tool, and he's just he seems like such a obviously he is like such a smart, like someone I can have a conversation for like days with. Hopefully, I'm just afraid to piss him off.
That's the thing about Maynard. For me, I feel like he doesn't seem like that interesting to me. Like I think he has a lot of interesting ideas, but I doubt he would share them with me. So it's like I don't know if I necessarily would want to sit and talk with him. I think Trent would be maybe a little more open, but it's hard to tell, man. It's hard to tell with any of these guys because we don't really know them. We just know what they show us.
Yeah. Scotty P mentioned Mick Jagger. That would be cool.
That would be awesome.
Theo Proet, Dave Cameron, Dove, or is it Dove?
He said Dove. I don't know who.
Dove Cameron. My bad. I'm not familiar. We should definitely search that up. Corey
Dove
Taylor.
Cameron.
David Art 1000, Corey Taylor, Slipknot, right? I'm assuming.
Of course. Corey Taylor, I mean, I feel for that guy because like everybody wants to meet Corey Taylor. It must be tough for him to even go out for a second.
It's funny because I don't have that need to meet him, but I mean, I would definitely have a nice chill hang and a conversation with the guy. I mean, the guy is like fronted two like really like that I know of, like big bands and great songs and like contrasting. This is what I love about like what some artists, when they do a solo or another project where it's completely different, so you get to see another side of them, whereas like a lot of the solo albums that you see from some of the guys I listen to, they go and do just more of the same or more even deeper into what the band does, and then they do their stuff. So I love it when people change it up so that you get to see different aspects of this artist.
Couldn't have said it better myself. If you guys have any other artists that you want to meet, you can go back on this thread and add them there, or make sure to look out for our new threads on the comms tab. Here we ask you guys to name a great song that tells a story, and Spock looks like he's very much interested in what we have to say.
Love Spock. So we have HWC Transgender Ministries. That's a whole name.
That's a big one.
Deborah Cox, never knew. It's a sad story, but it counts. I know of Deborah Cox, but I'm not familiar with the whole catalog. You?
I am not.
Okay. So then we have Shane Burst, Tom Ames' Prayer, and Fire on the Mountain.
Okay.
Not familiar as well. It's so crazy, man. It's so crazy how I don't know these people.
So much out there, man.
And I can, exactly. And I consider myself wow, I know music, right?
That's the thing.
Game X Simmons, Nas, I Gave You Power. Are you familiar with that one?
Ah, yes. Okay. So here he wraps up from the perspective of being a gun. And the gun is saying, I gave you power. I made you feel strong. Yeah, very powerful song by Nas. Awesome. And Nas probably one of the first rappers I ever heard in my life kind of thing. So yeah, I like it.
Yeah. I know of Nas, not in terms of I know he's a rapper, but I know him also as the entrepreneur.
100%. Well, I mean, he is, he's managed to hang on for so long and so many different creative avenues. It really is remarkable.
We have Natezu Chikai. I hope I'm saying that right. King Park. Not familiar with that one. Michael E. Fillion, or Fillion if you're French. Edmund Fitzgerald. Let me see. There's a reply. Is that my reply? I was going to say that. Gimmick Simmons.
There you go.
I was going to say that. And then here or higher, Queen 39. I'm not familiar with that one. I bet you I know it. I just don't know the title.
It's one of those things where, you're probably more, familiar with the actual sound than the actual names. For me, I was surprised not to see my pick in the comments, but I have to throw this in there. Stand by Eminem. That is definitely an incredible song. Of course, if you haven't heard it, he tells the story of, the first part is from the perspective of a stalker who's obsessed with Eminem. And then the end of it is from Eminem's perspective responding to him. So, I mean, just an insane saga and probably one of the most skilled examples of storytelling in modern music. So, Joe, I don't know if you have a pick, but that was mine.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to pick. It's funny when you ask this question and all of a sudden everything goes out of your mind and you have empty mind.
Exactly.
But, I got the hamster going a little bit, and I have to mention, one of my all-time favorite bands growing up was Queensryche. And then I kind of sort of definitely lost touch with those guys, their catalog and stuff. But the first few albums, anyways, one in particular was Operation Mindcrime. And that album is a concept album. And it's just the songs are so amazing. And I can't pick a particular song because it's a whole story. The whole album is a story. And every song is just brilliantly written, the lyrics and all that stuff. But the idea is and this is 1986, right? That it came out, and
Nuts.
It's all about 15 minutes of fame. The media is giving you the wrong message, drugs, brainwashing, religion,
wow.
Everything that's sort
ahead
of
of its time.
Big time, but at the same time, it's always been, that stuff's always been happening, right? So we're always gonna have corruption, we're always gonna have government, we're always gonna have brainwash people, drugs, that kind of stuff. But yeah, this album is just for me, it's one of, I would probably put in my top 5 albums of all time, and probably even if I had to shortlist it, would be in the top 3.
Wow,
it's just
that's
one
up
of those
there.
albums, and I've listened to this album literally hundreds of times because I wanted to learn the song, so I listened to it, and every time, even today, if I'll put it on, I will hear something I never realized it was there the whole time.
That's insane. See, that's a great type of music though, because it keeps building over the years.
Every time. And what I love, what I'm most proud of this album is that it's considered right up there as the metal version of Pink Floyd's The Wall, but concept album wise.
Okay,
and
that makes sense.
And people have saying that it's the equivalent, let's say, metal concept album like The Wall, So anyways, I'm gushing here, but this is that was my favorite for the longest time.
Here we ask you guys to name an album you think has no bad songs on it, no skips. And Danny Trejo says he approves of this message. He's looking good, the man.
I love this guy. I mean, like, I was just having a conversation with somebody, and we're saying like he's like the Samuel L. Jackson of like just the cameos in so many movies, and
it's insane,
and different characters, but also sometimes the same type of character. And I love it. He's just so cool to see.
That guy from That Thing.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so we have Melissa Worth, who says Blackout by Britney Spears is one of them. Strongly recommended not pushing the skip button if anyone is a first-time listener.
That's a first.
I'll definitely go on record and say I've not listened to an entire Britney Spears album, but I mean, I've listened to a lot of the songs, and like from a production background, I can appreciate so much of the production Max Martin and some of those producers put into these songs and stuff, but I have not listened to an entire album. You?
I think I have, like, I remember I had a babysitter when I was young, and their daughters loved Britney Spears, so they would play the whole album. So I think I did hear this whole album, Melissa, subliminally. So if I put it on now, maybe I'll get back to you next show about if any repressed memories come back. But no, I think I've definitely heard a lot of it.
So Sunset Lights, a SoundMojo artist. Which,
hey, shout out Sunset.
Yeah, which is this guy is just great. Like, he's just a great songwriter, and his vocal is just, I love it. I love his vocals. It reminds me a lot of Dallas Green, which is
City and Color.
There you go. I love it. It's funny because like Dallas Green, City Color, I always go with the name instead of
and Alexis on Fire too, so it adds to the confusion.
Yeah, exactly. So he says this is so true. Keen, Hopes and Fears, and Under the Iron Sea Horse. Are you familiar with Keen?
This is a name I have not seen, but I like the titles. It paints a picture, so I have to check this out.
That album, Hopes and Fears, is genius. A to Z. No guitars. It's just piano, drums, vocals, and whatever. But like, it's just like amazing. Well, some of the best songs I've ever heard. The Beatles, Help, Revolver, Rubber Soul, Abbey Road, or anything that the Beatles put out. You forgot Sgt. Pepper there.
Come on, guys.
That's my personal favorite. Coldplay, agree. Parachutes. What is this one? Aerobith? I'm not sure about that one.
I'm not sure. Maybe that was the new one that they just put out.
Maybe, because like I did fall out of touch a bit. U2, Achtung Baby, or anything from that album before and a bit after is just brilliant. Linkin Park, Hybrid Theory. I freaking love that album.
Insane. Yeah, really good list there, Sunset.
Yeah, totally. Not Donald Fagen, Steely Dan's entire catalog. I know there's a lot of people that are into that Steely Dan stuff, and like even just the reputation they have as musicians, incredible.
No doubt.
Shahid Shabazz, welcome back. Jane's Addiction, nothing shocking, definitely. Bixby, I guess. The Divine Feminine by Mac Miller.
Solid album. Yeah, definitely. It's like a fever dream, that album, but a pleasant one.
Yeah. Shahid Shabazz, Kid Rock. Just kidding. So
what do you mean, man? No.
Jacob Wisely, Beastie Boys, License to Will. My lord. Yes, sir.
That's a band I got to go back on. A group I got to go back on. 100%. Yeah, I know a couple songs, and I enjoy what I've heard.
Well, I grew up with that, and that's my not my introduction to rap. That's wrong. I got into rap a lot younger, but that was like when that album came out. It was like we were blasting it everywhere we could, my friends and I. You gotta fight for your right to party.
That's it.
All those classics. No Sleep Till Brooklyn. Oh no, that's a great album, and it's produced by who's the guy with the guru with the big
Rick Rubin.
There you go.
The man himself.
Yeah. That was awesome. All right. So Cole, King of Losers music review. What is it? Good Kid, Mad City.
Okay, Kendrick Lamar. Okay. I definitely agree with that. I think that is probably the only Kendrick album with no skips, I gotta say. Mm-hmm. Cool. And same with Slipknot's, named album, self-titled album, as Gangster Yoda is saying in the comment section. I think for a Slipknot fan especially, that's probably no skips. I mean, that is in my opinion, their best album.
I'm embarrassed to say I don't know it.
Whoa, that's surprising to me, Joe. That's surprising to me.
I don't know. There's something about Slipknot that like I don't, it doesn't resonate with me. I'm a freak of the Deftones, and every time I send my cousin Deftone link, he goes, dude, I don't know, I just don't resonate.
He doesn't get
Deftones. And I look at him, what's wrong with you?
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, no.
So same with you and Slipknot.
Yeah, but for some reason I was producing a lot of bands at the time, and Slipknot was everywhere, and for some reason I just couldn't get past it. I'm surprised because like I like the whole masks, the concept. They're obviously great musicians and stuff. I just don't know what it is. Maybe I gotta tweak something in my brain.
Maybe they're too extreme.
No, but I mean, I listen to Meshuggah, so I mean, like, it's...
But I mean, maybe they play up their extremeness too much, and because I kind of find that as a turnoff. They're like, yeah, like we're killing. It's like, all right, guys, relax,
Maybe. All right, next, AUR, another SoundMojo artist, Xylent, We Are Dust LP. That's like definitely an EDM, knowing AUR.
I like
but
that.
Definitely check him out. He's got some great songs on our channel. I'll definitely put a card, like they say, somewhere here or there. Rainbow Hawk 1993, Linkin Park, 1,000 Suns.
Ooh, Linkin Park, devout fan base, that Linkin Park.
Yeah, look, the next one too, Devion, what is it? Devious
Viz?
Yeah, I can't read, man? Devious Viz, yeah, wow. Hybrid Theory, of course. Yeah, definitely.
I like that. 2 Linkin Parks back to back. Here we asked you guys to send us some music suggestions for the SoundMojo crew to go and listen to and come back to discuss our favorites on this episode of Innersleeve. So which suggestions did we get, Joe, and which ones did we actually listen to? Because I listened to a good handful.
Okay, yeah. So here we have who said G Idol, Oh My God. We have Mark Lee Filion, Memphis Mayfire. Food Sticks, Meshuggah with the song Phantoms, and then Not Donald Fagen, FKJ-Vincent.
Now, I would say the G Idol, this was interesting because based on the visuals of the album, I didn't see that it was K-pop at first. So I expected it to be a bit of a darker sound. But then when I put it on, I was surprised. I was like, okay, it's a bit of that lighter K-pop stuff. I liked it though. I think K-pop is definitely onto something, and they have like some distinct formula that they're really making their own.
Yeah, I'll admit, when I saw G Idol, I expected a hip hop or a rap artist. I didn't expect it was going to be like you said, K-pop, I guess. I just saw it as pop, right? I thought the song was really cool, and what I liked about the song was that it wasn't like such an in-your-face, like over pop song. It was more like a little bit laid back and more just a song with a catchy hook and stuff. With relaxed feel, and honestly, I stumbled on the lyric video. I don't know if you stumbled on the same one as me, but it was so nicely colorful. Like when the person was singing, they highlighted the person. The
nice, artist, okay. I heard it on Spotify, so I just got the audio.
I thought it was cool. What did you think of Memphis Mayfire?
Memphis Mayfire, this was a name I'd heard a lot throughout the years, and I thought it was super solid. I think that they have a lot of energy in their music, and it's kind of like a mix. It's like some Nashville type of sound mixed with rock, I find. It's very interesting, their influence. I can't really pinpoint it.
Yeah, I think you would probably need to like listen to like a good album or two for a bit to really be able to take out the influences. Again, same thing. Maybe I don't know what's wrong with my brain, but Memphis Mayfire, I thought it was like a country artist or something, because of the Memphis boop.
Exactly.
But like I was surprised when I searched it up and it was like some good old metal, I hadn't heard of them at all. Never heard of it. And it made me think it was, it's just, I listened to it and if like you said, like a bit of Nashville with a bit of that genty vibe, like not too much gent, but it was good. I appreciated it.
Meshuggah, this was probably my favorite on the list when it comes to listening. Phantoms, I think I played the song a few times back to back, and just, it kind of reminds me of like that Mudvayne kind of sound. Like those are 2 bands, by the way, that I always mix up because of the names, Meshuggah and Mudvayne.
Well, Meshuggah, like I'm a diehard fan, like a fan since the 90s and stuff, but I don't get them confused with Mudvayne because I guess I was around at the time and stuff. But I mean, like this song felt more like classic Meshuggah in the sense where it wasn't as over the top crazy just to prove that we're technical and stuff. But it had that classic Meshuggah sort of vibe, feel, and like patterns, So I definitely like it. For me, this was like a definite, give me brutal riffs, screaming vocals. I'm already there, halfway there.
What's your take on FKJ Vincent? This I'm curious about.
Yeah, actually, just before, I just want to say, when I was watching the video on YouTube and it was on their channel, they turned off the comments, which is weird. I've never really seen.
Meshuggah.
Yeah, the comments were off. So
interesting.
I thought that was interesting. But to go back to not Donald Fagen's FKJ, this turned out to be my favorite suggestion out of these because it was like just the soundscapes. I love the soundscapes, the chill out vibe, relaxed, that kind of stuff. But this ended up being my favorite of the bunch. You?
I like this type of production too. It's kind of like a lo-fi-ish vibe in a way, but a little less sleepy, like it's more of an uplifting kind of vibe.
True.
So it's a nice mixture for sure. And I think that everybody here in the chat, I mean, in the comments has such a different taste as well. I love the fact that everybody here on SoundMojo we can go from Meshuggah to FKJ to K-pop, and we're doing this in one sitting. So, I mean, it's impressive.
I know, this was freaky. Like, again, this is probably the 20th time I've said this on the show over the episodes. FKJ, had you ever heard of it?
No.
Him? Or it or whatever. And it's funny because me neither. And when I got to the channel, there's 2 million subscribers on the channel. So
insane.
Where have I been,
No doubt, right? Make sure to stay tuned to the SoundMojo Comms tab and let us know what we should listen to next. And we'll come back next episode every single week to let you guys know what we thought of your suggestions. Now we're going to hop into our interview with Kandle and Neil Osborne talking about their brand new project, A Family Curse. If you like what you hear and want to hear more of Kandle and Neil, check out the link in the description below for all of their information, including their socials. And we'll catch you guys right afterwards. Island in Ontario, I would assume, or is this elsewhere?
No, this is in British Columbia.
Sweet.
Nice. Very cool.
I've never been, man. I'm so like, I've been born and raised in Montreal. Just I've never been to the other side.
Oh yeah, the West Coast is great. I mean, it's one of those. She's ambivalent.
I'm just
not loving it.
It's one of those rare sunny days. Here, I'll show you.
Yeah.
It's always where the grass is greener, right?
The grass is pretty green today. See that?
Oh, yeah.
Wow,
Nice.
Look at that.
Look at that.
Good times.
That's the back 40.
Nice.
So this
Lots
is
of animals?
recuperation after the album coming out. Is this sort of the rest period and while you're doing the promo, or what exactly are we doing here?
We're chilling. Yeah.
Nice.
We just did a tour, and now we're having a couple of chill days.
And this is where the studio is. And we're just editing videos for new songs and, content stuff. Having fun.
Super cool. So, I mean, what's this process like leading up to a release of the album? Is it more nerves? Is it more excitement? Because, I mean, neither one of you at this point are new to music, by any means. This has been in your blood, So, I mean, what's the process like right now?
Well, it's exciting.
Relief.
Yeah.
We've been sitting on this project.
The fact that you guys
years.
are here is pretty exciting. It's hard to get anybody to even notice you have a record out anymore these days. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, we record
just end it there. That's truth right there.
Yeah. Other than that, no, it's fun because it's obviously it's a project that we have both fun and it's funny that we do. Right. And
so no nerves really with this.
Or the Kandle music and the 5440 music. That's great. It's a whole nother thing. But this is actually quite a fun. We had a great time on tour with Danny Michelle on drums and her man Jeff on bass. So we had a blast actually. It was just like
too much fun, maybe.
Way too much fun.
Yeah.
It's like when you're a kid in the garage and you finally get a gig and you're so excited. It was, we didn't make any money, but we had a blast.
Well, business as usual, right? Like,
for me,
but it's true because like that's the first vibe. As soon as I watched the video, right, for Cemetery Blues, that's the first vibe I got. And then I saw some of the other stuff on the YouTube, like where your live streams was, and it's like let's just have fun. That's what it looks like. It looks like you said, when you're back a kid in your garage, nothing else mattered. You weren't worried about release content and stuff. You were just worried about that like cathartic process of just getting it out.
Yeah, exactly. And it's funny because you were talking about how you prepare for a release and all that sort of stuff. And the whole idea of a release, still, as far as I can tell, is to be able to get yourself on the road and get a few bodies in front of you. And we did that anyway before the release came out, because it was there waiting for us, and it was a lot of fun. So I still think that's the fun. That's the secret, is just, if you can afford it, get out on the road.
Is it the first time you guys have sort of toured together?
We did a couple of shows, Kandle and I, just as a duo, with a little drum machine and maybe a third guy once in a while. But this was a band, so it was hilariously fun.
Yeah, it was my first time being like in a band, because I've always had, session players and for hire people. But I was like, oh my God, we're equals. Like we're an actual band. We're all contributing. We're all in this together. And
that's
I liked it.
Everybody pile in the van and do their jobs. Somebody loads, somebody sells shirts after the show. Somebody settles the $200 we make, that kind of thing.
That's it. Delegating all around, right? I mean, that's really what the band effort. So was that really different? It
was very natural. The people sort of took on their responsibilities, and we had this, and Danny's a fun guy too.
Yeah.
And we had this, the motto, which we stole from Courtney Taylor from Danny Warhol's, which is, it's either fun or funny. Those are the only two choices you have.
That's a good point.
And it's best when it's both.
Yes. I love that. Obviously the record name, A Family Curse, so obviously, a tongue-in-cheek sort of name. Maybe if we could take it back, Neil, of course, a father-daughter relationship. What is your first musical memory involving Kandle, Neil? And then maybe Kandle, I could ask you the same thing about your father. Like, what's your first musical memories involving one another?
You go first, because I'll have to think.
Yeah, that's a great question, which we're very similar in that we don't remember stuff.
We have dementia.
You both have it together?
Yeah.
I have his brain. It's horrible.
She used to come backstage a lot and then draw cartoons. So is that music?
No.
Yeah. Hey, I mean, it's in the wheelhouse,
Here's the thing, though. I don't believe I ever encouraged either kid.
You discouraged.
Yeah, to get into
discouraged
music because of the lucrative. There's only so much money to go around. So, but Kandle just sort of took a natural shine to it. Really, I don't even think I might have shown you a chord or something.
Great writer. It happened by accident.
Yeah,
stumbled into it.
She's naturally creative. So the music thing came to her, and then she learned how to sing very quickly. And I trying to remember the first. Maybe you wrote a song, and I went, "Wow, that's like a song."
I think I wrote some like really emo song when I was 14. That was just like all E minor, and it was about like how hard it is to be a teenager.
No one understands me.
Yeah, my bleeding rose or something like really dramatic, and I remember being like, that you wrote that, and I'm like, yeah. But my
was it sort of expected that
it was probably, I don't know, 6 months old, backstage in a diaper? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know if you remember that far back, but yeah.
So it's all encompassing. I mean, it must be challenging. I would imagine you guys, did you always have music on in the house, or was it something that was sort of just a professional thing and it wasn't really as part of the dynamic?
I don't know if it was always on, but
it's always part of the life.
Yeah, it was definitely like, either I remember hearing like the Cranberries a lot and stuff when I was like 5, and I was exposed to like cool music and Frank Sinatra.
Interestingly enough, I know other people in the music business, my generation and whatnot, who have kids, and half the kids seem to have good taste in music, and half the kids of other people that I know who I won't mention have shitty taste in music. And I think my kids both had pretty good taste, to the point where, they would edit boyfriends based on their musical taste, which I thought was an awesome thing to do.
It's a red flag if it isn't good.
Yeah. He also, he wasn't ever judgmental when we liked shitty pop music.
Oh,
in
you
the
liked
90s.
Aqua, right? Was that the
Well,
band?
I still like Aqua.
Yeah. And I'll tell you this, the only time inside privilege, being a Canadian rock musician that's been around, I normally don't pay to see shows. I weasel my way in or ask. And the only show I ever paid for, which was a fortune, was to take her and her sister to the Spice Girls.
Spice Girls. There
Yeah.
you go.
It cost me 200. This is back whenever this was.
It was so long. I think it was
2000?
96. No.
It's Father of the Year.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
like 96 or 97. I remember being so
Yeah.
crushed that he came back from the merch table with an extra large kids t-shirt.
Because all they had was an extra large.
But it
Got the last one.
Now she still wears it.
so
yeah.
now I wear it all the time because an XL kid size is
That was,
perfect for me now.
class.
I'll tell you, that was an experience. I imagine it's still like that with like
I think I fell asleep.
teeny bopper stars. I'd never been to one of those shows, even when I was a teeny bopper.
You were one of the dads, sad dad in the crowd.
I was a sad dad. And, the screaming kids, and then between whatever the opening act was and Spice Girls, the screen was just commercials.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, you don't remember that? I couldn't believe it, and it was such an experience, but not worth $1,000.
Completely different from sort of where you started musically, right? I mean, it must be a completely different world.
Yeah. It's I've softened my attitude quite a bit, but back then I wouldn't even call it music.
Right.
What
What are your thoughts on some of the artists today, like the way that music seems to be going in terms of the visuals and stuff? I mean, what do you make of people like Billie Eilish or folks like that?
Well, we like Billie Eilish.
I'm
Yeah.
a huge
Yeah.
fan.
I think she's
Like,
awesome, honestly.
mega fangirl over here.
Yeah.
I've
Yeah,
tried
because-
to get him into being a fangirl too.
She's
Yeah.
but they're slightly different because, like, from a production background, you enjoy the trickery, the audio, the there's so much more than just the music. And it's how they put it together. Whereas a lot of the other stuff that we sort of hear pushed on radio is like, you could tell it's just like, oh, okay, they took a chorus from this guy, and like at this point, they don't even write their own songs. Let's just take the chorus, put anything as a verse because the chorus is already a hit 20 years ago. It's going to be a hit again, right?
Yeah. I mean, I think that maybe that's for Billie Eilish and her brother Bobby Eilish. What's his name? I don't even know.
Phineas.
Phineas. Okay.
Billy and Bobby Eilish. They, as far as I understand it, they do write their own stuff and
Yeah.
And their writing is good.
And that's what you want. I think you want what people have to offer as themselves, their own reflection of the world around them, or how they see things. Not this team of 25 writers that's on a, let's say another pop record or something like that.
Exactly.
I think
that doesn't
that's
do a lot
why
for me.
why I like Billy so much is to see someone come out completely unique as a songwriter, as a creator, totally not following any trends or anything, and reach that like superstardom level, being totally herself, and you're like,
Yeah.
wow, you're not manufactured, you're not created, you're not being told what to wear, or people are writing your songs and telling you what goes on the radio. Like, Happier Than Ever is like, what, 10 minutes long or something? Like,
Yeah, it's insane.
I mean,
I love it.
yeah, I don't know a lot what's out there new and stuff. Once in a while I hear something, or Ken will play me something. I go, that's pretty cool. Usually it's cool if it sounds like it's early 80s production or earlier to me, and they go, oh, I like that.
Yeah.
Right.
I was with some friends on the weekend, and we were playing vinyl, records, And we
I've got
how
my
great it
little
was.
collection.
Hey, I got one right here behind the plant.
And anyway, somebody put on the first Devo record, and I was just like, wow, this sounds so good. If I had heard this like today as a new band with that kind of production, I'd be like, this is the greatest band in the world.
Right. Well, The Weeknd does a lot of that too. He's sort of bringing back the 80s sound on the latest Weeknd records too. So definitely sort of feels like that's almost coming back in a sense.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Well, I got into synthwave back in 2015-ish. Synthwave, which is basically retro 80s and stuff, and I found that seeped in because that's underground, and it seeped into all these weekends that caught on, and they're like, hey, let's put that in the mainstream, But I mean, I grew up, in the 80s and 90s, and like the 70s was always my favorite decade, like in terms of for any music, jazz, fusion, all that stuff, right? And I kind of sort of took the 80s. Yeah, and that kind of even pop, exactly, classical, anything, and now I look at the '80s, the decade I kind of grew up, and I'm like, man, this just kicked ass, man. We had everything, and even movies kicked ass in the '80s. You know, like it was just crazy.
Yeah. Although, we have this thing where we kind of, does it stand the test of time, right? So you listen to maybe Simple Minds and you go, it doesn't really stand the test of time. But you listen to The Cure and you go, totally stands the test of time.
Yeah.
And that's just a question of taste, maybe. I don't know. Where it just works till now, whereas some of it you kind of go, ooh, what were they thinking?
Yeah.
This is true. How about you guys' record in terms of a family curse? I mean, you guys completely recorded and produced this in-house. Now, you were saying that are you in the studio now where you taped this?
Well, this is the home.
Okay.
That way.
Studios that way. Okay. So, I mean, what was that like, in terms of putting that together? And was it just the two of you in a room, or were you involved with Danny as well?
Well, there's a couple of ways it all came together. The first one was that our family, so my wife and her sister, we were all in different places one Christmas time. My wife had to look after her mom.
Money problems.
Kandle was stranded in Montreal. Coral was in Los Angeles. Anyways, Kandle and I got on the phone and I said, well, I got this, these chords or something like that. I don't know what to do with them. They're not for my band. And so she sang to them. And I was like, well, this is cool.
That was Cemetery. Cemetery first one?
No, it was in Every Town.
Oh.
And so then she just said, well, I was experimenting with slide guitar. So like Shake and Shudder and Cast a Curse, those songs kind of thing. And I would come up with grooves and I'd play the drums and stuff like that. And she goes, just give me a title. So I'd say, Cast a Curse or Cemetery Blues and stuff like that. And then she would just, from her house, come up with the lyrics and the words. It's like, wow, that's pretty cool. Then she came over and we finished it. Second part of that is that Danny, Michelle, and I had worked on some jams. And we just got
like
put on
20 years ago, I just found out.
Like 2000.
Really?
2006, we recorded.
Wow.
I was in high school.
He came.
There you go. So this has been in the making here.
Yeah, he came to the
that.
band studio and we just jammed. And then we always meant to do something with it, but it just sort of got put on the shelf and we completely forgot about it. And then as I saw that Kandle could just sort of instantly sing something and in this character of this Tex-Mex blues, Allah vibe, I sent her 4 of those tracks that I dug up from basically taking a really old hard drive, figuring out how to hook it up to a new computer, dumping files, like really
what a challenge.
Yeah. And then just like, hey, here's these tracks. So yeah, there's 4 songs that Danny plays piano and drums on. So when I sent it to him, I said, remember this? And he totally forgot. He was like, this is great. I want in the band. I want to be the drummer. Like, okay.
I love it. And you and Danny are brothers?
Well, we're brothers in spirit.
Brothers in spirit. I like that. That's
we just
cool.
make everyone seem related on tour. I didn't meet Danny until the first day of the tour, but I'm like, really? Uncle Danny?
Yeah, exactly, right?
Is that part of the classic?
Is that you? Yeah. Is that you?
Exactly.
Kandle, you talk about this project diving into a fantasy world, so to speak. I mean, it sounds like you work off titles, when it comes to forming your ideas. How does that process for you when it comes to like painting that picture in your mind and then sharing that picture?
It's really fun because really my whole solo career, I'm very much, maybe too much myself. I always write from true experiences, exactly what I'm going through, what I've dealt with, what I'm seeing around me. And with the whole concept of Family Curse being like fun and being this different kind of genre, like I started writing stories and characters and, he would send me this like cool organ loop and just called it Getaway Car. Next thing I know, I'm writing a song about robbing a bank and us like driving through the desert and like writing kind of just more fictional and pulling from, movies and stories and still real life has been really fun and something for some reason I had never done before, writing as a character versus just here's me and exactly who I am.
Yeah, we're actually creating new horizons that's really nice.
Well put.
Outside of our normal envelope or box or whatever you want to call it, which is fun.
When I was reading them, it was like, it said, staple singers added a little Carpenter, Partridge Family, but this one caught my attention. Like I've never seen anybody write sprinkle in a dash of Smothers Brothers. That is, you really have to know the Smothers Brothers.
I don't even know
them. And I know them as just the funny guitar duo. They were hilarious, right?
Yeah. And Sonny and Cher, I guess.
And Sonny and Cher, yeah.
Yeah, we have quite a banter on the stage, which just basically is as we are.
Bickering.
That's it.
Neil, how would you say this compares to your typical sort of creative process? I mean, was it much different, much the same? How exactly does it compare?
Well, it was different and kind of fun that I didn't have to worry about singing or writing the words.
Right. That must be completely different.
Yeah. I mean, I don't mind writing words, and I've said all the amazing things there is to say, and I'm recycling some of that, but
you're out of words.
Yeah, I just, it's fun to step back and just sort of be, once again, like a partner with Kandle and the guitar player and kind of, help put the music together, and then she sings and the words and the melody over it. So in that sense, it's kind of refreshing for me, and it's just lighter in a lot of ways. It's fun.
It's nice. It's nice to let someone else drive it once in a while, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I was curious because at the beginning you were saying like in terms of like releasing an album, nobody seems to really care these days. But like, is there any interest from radio in your kind of stuff?
I don't even know.
Yeah.
Because we don't really hear this sound like on traditional radio at all. So I'm just wondering,
No, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what our budget allows for,
marketing wise.
Yeah, and letting people know it exists. So it's just, through people like you guys and getting out there in front of people like live. I mean, that's how 5440 did it, and that's how Kandle did it, I think, is that, somebody sees you and says, I like this, and where do I hear more? And you kind of go, oh, well, buy the record or whatever you want to do. And they spread the word. I still think that's the way to do anything in the music business, is just play in front of people. It's just harder to find those venues and harder to make it work.
I'm staring into snake eyes, waiting for me to fall. Overhead a vulture flies, they can take my body, won't have my soul. My body won't have my soul.
The tour you guys did now, what was the reception like from the people that were there? Like, were they expecting it?
Yeah. We made a small run of t-shirts. We had five shows. There's one of them.
Oh, nice. That's nice.
Nice.
Five or six shows. Six shows in a row. And this was the other thing, is I don't have to worry about my voice when it's I don't.
Yeah,
that's
live,
it,
yeah.
right?
I had a lot of bourbon.
Yeah.
I was like, a show every night after 2 years of COVID. I'm like, right, okay.
Yeah.
Gotta loosen up the vocals,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyhow, we sold out of merch for 2 days. And,
Yeah.
we made more. And
Wow.
just people were enthusiastic. They were small crowds, admittedly, but once
Very
again,
fun
it
shows.
kind of made it more fun.
Yeah, but
That's the thing.
that happens a lot. The smaller the crowd, sometimes the more fun the show.
yeah, we're our own roadies, loaders. No sound guy, nothing. It's just skin of your teeth, get her done. It's fun.
How about the music video concept for Cemetery Blues? I'm curious, like you guys have sort of a very cool aesthetic going on, almost like a VHS style sort of video almost.
Again,
where did
the
that
80s
really
again.
come from?
Yeah. Well, you should check out the other videos too that we released earlier. LA Blues and Desert Blues.
Mhm.
All done. So these were COVID videos that we had order things from Amazon. It's like, what else can I get from Amazon?
Right.
Green screen.
And it was a green screen. Blew
got
my
obsessed.
mind. So basically we put a green screen in our living room, and Kandle was hanging out with us, and we go into the dress up box or go to the thrift store and buy more.
We have a dress up box.
have a
That's
dress-up
true.
box.
Why not?
Since they were kids, we have a dress up
Oh
box.
yeah. Is that for Mr. Dress Up?
Yeah, well, that kind of concept.
Same idea.
Yeah.
And then we put stuff on and dance and just have fun in front of the green screen. And then I'd film on the iPhone once again or whatever, or steal from YouTube backgrounds. And it's just, I learned how to edit. I'm editing a new one right now. And it's just fun, it tells a story.
You got the new bug. You got a new bug under your skin. Yeah. It's fun. Once you get into video, it's way worse than audio, but it's fun,
Yeah.
And I love his video style. I kind of took a step back because I'm if you're familiar with my solo work, I'm such a perfectionist with videos. I luckily have won a few awards for them. I went to photography school, and Dad just so who cares, creative, so things I would never think of, things that are so weird that are cool. So I just let him totally direct and edit these videos, and I would have never come up with them. I just wouldn't. And I wanted it to be quite different than what I do. That's kind of the point, is to not do the same thing that he does in Rob 40 or I do with Kandle, just something new. And the videos, they crack me up. They're amazing.
Yeah. Cemetery is pretty good. It's, there's a lot of sunset scenes, and that's when we were on a ferry one day, and it was a beautiful sunset out here in BC. And I just kept filming it. It's I'm going to use this.
Nice. Hey, that's cool. You got to use whatever you come across, right? So I mean, in terms of the future of this project, is this looking like just a one-off sort of thing for fun, or is this going to be? Are we going to see more of the two of you together on the road and stuff?
We're talking Grammy Awards, mink underwear, limo.
Why not?
No, hopefully because we're family. You can't choose your family, so we're in this. It's a curse.
That's it. It's a family curse, right?
Yeah.
So we're just talking now about ideas for the next one and how to do it. We'll do it in-house at home again.
Awesome.
Maybe we'll get Danny out here again, that kind of thing.
Awesome.
Well, we'll definitely be watching, and make sure to let us know when the next project is coming out. We already have July 27th to look forward to, the Family Curse, and really appreciate you guys' time, honestly.
Oh, it's actually the Family Curse.
A Family Curse, of course. My apologies.
Cease and desist.
Well, because we got emails from people my band's called The Family Curse, and somebody else, my band, Family Curse. Well, we're called A Family Curse.
Yeah, A Family Curse is
AFC.
none other.
AFC is another way to put it.
I like that. Good acronym. Well, thank you so much for your time, guys. We really appreciate it.
Thanks
you for having us.
Awesome. All right. Bye-bye. We want to give a huge thank you to Kandle and Neil Osborne for taking the time to join us from their beautiful cabin on Innersleeve. I got to tell you, Joe, I was like, man, I wish I was hanging out in a cabin like that. It looked very open, lots of glass. It's very nice to see a father and daughter having such a close-knit relationship.
Yeah, for me, it's no strange thing because I have one with my daughter as well, but it was just great to see the father-daughter dynamic, especially coming from someone who's an established musician, especially here in Canada. I don't know how big 5440 was in the States, or if they were or not, because
Good
you could
question.
be huge here. You could be huge here, but unknown in the States, right? But yeah, it was great to see. And the combining, I don't know if 5440 is still touring and stuff, or is it on hiatus? But it's good to see that here you have a veteran, right? As you mentioned, some of the new stuff he's not as into, whatever. But now he's like myself, he's discovered video editing and the creativity behind videos and just having fun with it.
And he loves it too. You can tell he loves that editing, and it created a new love, like he was saying, for the music.
That's it. And that's what I love about this, putting together this podcast, is we get to see people the older generation growing into new things and discovering new things, the younger generation pushing through with like the older generation, like we always say, like, oh, you can't make money anymore. There's this and that. But meanwhile, then it doesn't matter. The young generation just wants to break through and make their mark, right? And then you have also the variety, right? Because these guys are like, what would you kind of like desert rock blues, like they have like this like almost twangy kind of like vibe. But then we also just spoke about Meshuggah, we spoke about G Idol, we spoke about like, that's what I love about the variety of the show, and not just like, niching down into one genre.
100%. We like to keep it widespread and cover all aspects of the world of music, and it was awesome to chat with them. And like I'm saying in the beginning, very cool to see a father-daughter relationship where it's not like, oh, my dad's embarrassing me, whatever. They actually want to collaborate, and they can take advantage of that.
But it was funny because like when they're in BC and like she's lived a few years in Montreal, and I was like, I'd love to go over there, and she's like, it's overrated. I'd rather go back to Montreal. That kind of stuff. Like it's funny,
We really appreciate Kandle and Neil for taking the time to stop by episode number 84 of Innersleeve, and we thank you guys for listening. Of course, make sure to hit that subscribe, whether you're tuned in on our YouTube channel or our audio platforms. Hit the comms tab for polls, music suggestions, and much, much more. Hit our social media as well at SoundMojo on all platforms. That's TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. We have On This Day in Music every single day. You guys have no clue what you're missing. It's awesome on all those pages, and make sure you go and check it out. Am I getting it all, Joe, or am I missing anything?
You can breathe now. I think we're good, man.
Okay, I can take a breath now. Thank you so much for listening to episode number 84 of Innersleeve. We'll catch you guys next week.